think podcasting in 2024 is the best thing that you can do right now because of the amount of opportunities that you can get out of this. Hey guys, Dennis Judges here, founder of Thirstcast. Before we jump into today's episode, just want to say Happy Christmas to everybody. I know everyone is preferring to spend their time with their family and friends. I wish I could have done that myself, but it's not quite near to travel all the way to Greece in order for me to be around with my family. But either way, I do enjoy making this type of episodes because this is really what I'm passionate about, and this is something that I see myself doing in the future, no matter the time of the year. So welcome. Today I want to try something a little bit more different. I just want to talk about a few things when it comes to podcasting, addressing some common problem issues and some of the things that I wish I knew and done differently when I first started with my own podcast. And I hope someone who's in my shoes and they want to start their own podcast in 2024, they can take from my mistakes and make things better for their own podcast. So one common mistake that I see and I've done myself was when I first started, I wasn't prepared enough. I didn't know enough to execute some of the very basic things that I needed to know. And the number one thing was that I didn't have enough episodes planned out before I start out. I didn't have any teasers, any clips or anything like that to prepare people to come and watch or listen to the episodes that I was making. And I think this is the most important thing when you're first starting up with your podcast, because you want to have enough content for people to watch and see in case they would like the material that you've made beforehand. Another thing is that you want to have a proper structure, you want to have a proper strategy on how you can create your content for months to come, because it's very exhausting, it's very tiring to make content every single week or whatever day of the week you're planning to execute your content, because that way you allow yourself to edit the video and distribute your content equally to the social media platforms you would like to do that, or any directories. So there's a couple of things that I had to spend a lot of time, money as well, in order for me to acquire some of this knowledge. And YouTube, it wasn't enough to help me get the information that I needed. So in case you are just someone who just started out or thinking about making a podcast, especially if you're a business owner and you're thinking to you want to have more creative ways of bringing more customers in, or you want to increase the your brand identity more broadly. And I think podcasting in 2024 is the best thing that you can do right now because of the amount of opportunities that you can get out of this. Now, if you really think about this, is the attention has gone from radios to TVs all the way to podcasts nowadays in social media, and I think this is massive because especially when it comes to acquire more customers, generate more sales to your business, or even increasing the brand awareness, because you can organically create content as long as they're available enough, the stuff that you make, so people can come back to and watch and listen over and over again. There's so many other things that you want to pay attention to that we can cover, but this is the number one thing that you really want to double down on. And most commonly, I see that 90% of podcasts fail to even go up to the 20th episodes. And here's my promise to you. My promise to you and to myself is that I'm going to make it past the 20th episode just to prove that you can do it. And it's as simple as that. As long as you have a plan, as long as you have a proper strategy in place that you can then execute in 1 day or 2 days and plan episodes for months to come. And that way you don't need to spend unlimited time to earn money, to just sit down every single week or whenever you're doing your own episodes, in order for you to scale, in order for you to be consistent, in order for you to keep your promise to yourself and to the people that you deem as your ideal audience. So these are all very important factors that you want to pay attention to, especially if you're just starting out and you don't know what are things that you want to pay attention to. Another thing that I made a mistake when I first started out to not really pay attention to those things. And you see that if you don't pay attention to those things, you will be inconsistent. And if you are someone like me who's producing and post-production and all that, you're doing everything yourself and you don't spend or leverage your time and you hire someone, then you wanna make this work for you, because otherwise it's very overwhelming. I've seen and myself, because podcasting is not an easy task. It's almost like a full-time job, you guys. And for someone who already has a full-time job or is a business owner, then they already know what I'm talking about if they have a podcast already. So you want to find a way to produce not just content, but also produce valuable content based on what other people are searching on right now and they care about. Because it's not just about how much content are you making, but also what is the quality of the content that you make. So all these metrics that you really want to pay attention to, and I highly recommend to everybody who is into podcasting and they're only doing audio, they really want to double down to video podcasting, because that way you will increase massively the amount of eyeballs you will get. Now, if you're a business owner, you most likely have run paid ads, or you've been thinking to run paid ads. Then this is pretty much the same common sense as paid advertisement, because what it is, especially when it comes to social media content, the same things apply, the same tactics apply, with the same headlines, the same copy, the same call to action, and the only difference is that you apply those things based on the platform that you're using, so it's more easier and friendly based on the platform that you're using right now. Now, when it comes to platforms, there's also different platforms that you can use. It really depends on what is your ideal goal. I highly recommend YouTube to every single person that I have spoken to, no matter what their industry, no matter what they want to do, even if they are a local business or online business, because YouTube is the second most largest platform in the world, so you can get the most eyeballs from there. Now, 3 things every business needs to know in 2024 is: 1, you should really double down on your podcasting, making content enough to last for months, so you have all the time in the world to focus on your business. 2 is to actually find out what type of content you should be creating, because you want to try and get alongside with the algorithm and with a platform that will push your videos, your episodes to more people and recommend your videos, your stuff to more people. That works with every single platform, no matter which one you choose. Okay, so you want to be strategic enough to find the content in order for you to grow. Okay, and the third bit is that you want to understand what are the differences between each social media platforms. One common mistake that I made and I see other people are making is they're just making content and they're not understanding social media platforms. I'll give you an example and I'll tell you what mistake that I made in my own podcast when I first started. I mean, I'm still quite early in the podcasting world, and there's a lot of things that I'm learning every single day. But the number one mistake that I made was I was distributing my episodes in all social media platforms without understanding the context of each social media platform. And what do I mean by the context of that? I mean, you wanna position your content to, no matter which social media platform are you posting, based on how the platform is treating other people, or most importantly, how other people are using that specific platform. Because if you're posting on Instagram, it's different material, and you're gonna see different stuff from if you're posting on TikTok, and equally on LinkedIn, and equally on YouTube. So you get the idea. So you first need to understand how the platform works, and you want to adjust the content that you make based on that. And even if you have the same short or the same reel, all you have to do is just change the thumbnail before someone clicks on the reel or on the short, so you can then equally distribute that kind of shorts to all social media platforms. Now, there's pros and cons to find software or find websites that can help you do that. I pretty much like to do a lot of manual work, because every single social media platform, it requires some manual work. And if you do it, then if you schedule the post through other of the social media, or even the platform itself, it doesn't allow you to do exactly that, to contextualize the content that you upload for every single one. And you want to do that so you can separate yourself from other people, and even copy some of the mechanisms, some of the techniques that people with a lot of social media following are doing, so you can get some sort of attraction based on the theme alone, not the content, just the theme. But as I said, podcasting is so difficult. It's not an easy task. And you want to ask yourself, what is the main reason? What is the purpose for your podcast? Because if you don't really ask yourself why you make your podcast for, you're never gonna achieve success. I mean, a success to everybody is different, as we have previously discussed, but what is actually your success, your meaning of success with your podcast? One mistake that I made previously was that I was focusing too much on the numbers, too much on the metrics, and I think a lot of people are focusing on that aspect as well. And I believe that's why about 90% of podcasts fail, and they don't even reach the 20th episode, because they focus too much on how many eyeballs their episodes are getting and how many downloads their episodes are getting. Understand, we all want to have fun, to find success, and we all want to get the satisfaction of what we actually do and create works. However, if you really are honest with yourself and ask yourself, is my content actually valuable enough for someone to see myself, so to see the stuff that I create and deem me unique and separate from someone else? Because attention, like Gary Vee says, is the number one asset nowadays. You want to be so different, you want to be so unique that people will come to you again and again. Now, it's different tactics, different things that you can apply to, and I believe the best thing that I personally do is to actually do the work, walk the walk, and then talk about what I did. And this is something that Alex Hormozi has said previously, and I've really taken notes on the things that successful people are pointing out, because this is something that someone else has done, has talked about it, and now he's in a position to advise other people, hey, here's how I went from here to there, and I believe this is the best way to do it because XYZ. You can try different things, you can try some other stuff that you want to create, you want to say or represent as your brand. Say if you're a local business and you have a business owner, and your main objective is to get more customers through your podcast. Now, this is a very good opportunity for you to increase the amount of eyeballs they're coming to your page. or listen to your podcast, because now you have increased your brand awareness, and most people in your area, in the community, they talk about the local gym. They often listen to the podcast, and all of a sudden you acquire such a massive customer list, and every single person, they want to be part of that journey. Every single person, they want to be part of that success, because you have been the main character to taking up that role. So as I see, podcasting is actually not just podcasting, but actually communication and talking is actually a very difficult skill to learn, because especially when it comes to podcasting, because you want to master the communication skill, you want to master to be a good storyteller, you want to master on how you can be a good interviewer if you're hosting if your format is sort of type of interviewing other people and you bring guests into your show. No matter what type of formats are you choosing to make on your podcast, I think equally there is a level of expertise you want to acquire, and that only comes with time. The more you do it, the more you learn, the more you criticize yourself, the more feedback that you get from the things that you make, I think the better, because now you can someone else has pointed out the negatives, the things that you can improve and become better as a communicator, as a storyteller, as an interviewer, as a character yourself. And most importantly, as a business owner, sometimes I really enjoy just going on the things and read on the feedback that people are pointing out, whether that's a negative or a positive thing. I don't really let that to affect me that much. If you're someone who's letting the comments affect you in the emotional state, I believe just ask yourself why you're actually doing that, because you're always going to have hate comments, you're always going to have negative or either positive comments, but you want to find a way to deal with this. You know, it doesn't really matter if it's a close member of the family, a friend, or someone completely stranger. You want to find a way to overcome this obstacle. You want to find a way to not really care in the emotional state that much to affect your decisions, to affect you from to stop producing any more content just because what other people have to say about you or your personality or the things that you talk about. Because let's be honest, some of the topics that you might be talking about, it might be a little bit more personal to you. You might not want to expose yourself that much because you will know the consequences that can bring to you. But that's entirely up to you if you want to do that or not. And funny enough, people will say if you want to stand out on YouTube, you wanna speak to a way that you intrigue other people's invoke rather other people's emotions, so they can the algorithm push you even further. Now, whether that is a good strategy or not, I will leave that entirely up to you. But you want to have something of some sort of similar strategy to be able to retain people to watch your episodes or listen to your episodes better and more. Alex Hormozi has suggested that exactly technique and has suggested to hook your viewers via curiosity or via invoking emotion, retain the viewers by giving them a step-by-step or a story or a list, and then the more you do that, the more that you work your viewer and the more they come back to you. And I think every single podcast that I've seen or listened to lately, every time that I've come across to that, I see they apply the same mechanisms, they apply the same tactics, and the only thing that is changing is the emotion that they invoke to the viewer or listener. And that way they can then retain the average the average viewer for longer, because you see those episodes that are over an hour, 2 hours. Really depends on how hot the topic is, how relevant the topic is right now, if that is affecting a celebrity or there is just a viral topic that is going on right now, and they review or they respond to that, which is exactly like news. You should think like podcasting as news, and some people, they do exactly that. They use the podcasting words and they literally tell the news based on what the current trend is. The same idea applies to that. Now, let me tell you a story. When I first started with that, I didn't know all these things I'm telling you right now, and information was scattered between here and there. YouTube is not really enough to give you exactly what you need to succeed, and most people will give you a false promise on what is the actual truth. And I think the best way to learn is to actually see a lot of things and then make a decision based on what you have seen and from a lot of people, for you to then be able to make a proper decision and say, hey, this is what I'm planning to do, because now I have enough information, I have enough knowledge for me to make this work. Now, in 6 months' time from now, I've already planned a lot of content for days to come, for months to come, and I'm going to share with you the exact strategy for you to be able to succeed. The very first step that I did was to research what's already working on social media platforms, and since YouTube is the second largest platform rather than Google, is the only place that makes sense for me right now. And all I did was to go on there, find me some competitors that I have similar content to, and then try to see what titles they're using, what thumbnails they're using, what are their hooks, what kind of emotions they're trying to invoke when they first open up their episodes, and all that, from all the way from music to call to actions. And these all are the techniques that you can apply to yourself right now and succeed in 2024 without having to spend countless of hours trying to figure out what is your next subject going to be, what is your next topic is going to be. So you can then take all those keywords, all those search engine keywords that someone else has already searched, and make your next episode and apply the same techniques to every single one of the episodes that you make for months to come. Now, YouTube is not just the only place you can find that kind of information based on the keywords. Google is another great place, and Google Trends is another great place to find what's currently trending and what people are talking about. And believe it or not, the next one is TikTok. TikTok is where trends are going viral, is where trends are starting to create videos and become viral, and from there it goes from one platform to another. So I suggest, if you're producing content on TikTok, really watch out of what's currently trending and talk about the thing that currently trending, because the chances of you succeeding are more likely even if you just talk about something completely that is not trending right now. Now, there's other things that take into consideration, like more technical stuff depending on the social media platform, but the logic applies to every single one. So this is something that you will see over and over again, no matter which platform that you're picking. Now, if you enjoy this type of stuff and you want to hear more about this, make sure you subscribe and follow for more.